Hey guys, Rory from A&S Gear, and we're going to look at the brand new Etha 2 today. We just got them in this morning, and we've already shipped out our back orders, and so we are looking at this one right here. So let's open it up and see what you get. So this is the box that you're going to get it in right here. Just a basic box, cardboard. Open this up, and it looks like a high school binder that you might have had at one time that it comes in. It's a nice padded case, but it is rigid all the way around. So front and back, it has a nice strength to it, a hardness, while still having some padding. So it's definitely rugged and durable. I like it. Got some zippers here. Go ahead and zipperoo. Open that up, and that reveals two different compartments. You're going to get your manual over here on this side, your barrel sleeve over here. You're going to get some lube, gun, spares kit right there, Allen keys right there, and your barrel right there. Let's take this thing out and we'll take a look. All right, so right off the bat, you can see that it definitely has the same Etha kind of flair to it, just updated. And I think they did a good job with updating it and adding a lot of the cool new features that they've been showing in a lot of their other guns in this gun as well. So a couple things, we'll take it apart for the most part, but you can see the grips here have no screws on them. So the screws can come, or the grips can come off with just, manipulating some tabs. The ASA at the bottom is a POPs version ASA, so it does slide forward and back, just like that. And then it has a integrated regulator in it as well. So adjustment through the bottom right here as far as velocity goes. And the sides of the ASA are marked with a plus and an arrow and a minus with an arrow. So direct, depending on which direction you turn, those are going to be your up and down as far as velocities go. Gas through grip, as you can see, no lines on here. Gas through grip running up into here. Gamma core up in here. So, the Gamma core is just awesome. It's been a workhorse in the G-Tech line. So it's fitting that they put it into the Etha line, get rid of that spring assembly stuff that was in the original Etha, and go with a bolt system that works really, really well. Moving on, we will look up at this. We got eye covers here. This gun, instead of how they have normally done it with the Etha in the past, with having the board in here, or I shouldn't say with the Etha in the past, but with guns in the past, having the board as part of the frame, the grip frame, they've actually kind of gone along the page of the Mini, where they have two separate boards, although they don't have two separate ones, but they do run their board up along the top now. So it's a long, thin board, kind of like an old Impulse, sitting up along the top right here, so that they can have the battery in here, the regulator and transfer tube through here, and then your board up in here. To access the programming, you would take off the eye cover, I believe, on the left side, and that will get you to the tournament lock button that's on there, as well as, I shouldn't say get you into the programming, that gets you to the tournament lock button right there. Feed neck is a composite feed neck with the clamp on it, so that's pretty normal fare for them. Let's go ahead and let's pull the core out, and we'll compare it to one that I have sitting over here, which is let's see if I tighten this down all the way, or can I get it? I can get it with my hand still. I pulled a core out of a G-Tech, so we can look at this one. All right, so that is the core there. And here's our G-Tech core. If I line them up so our O-rings match up, right by there, you can see that they are almost identical to each other. Just this chamber right here that's going to hold air, the porting in it looks a little bit different. They might have just done that to, differentiate between which gun it's going in. I don't know if it actually matters too much, but everything else looks to be the same in there. So you're going to get that same efficiency and reliability that you have seen with the Gamma core through the other guns in the Etha now, which I think is great. Let's pull this eye cover off. Let's see underneath here. using the same type of detents that they've used in the past. One interesting thing about the eye covers is the actual eye, the eye sensor. So the eye sits down low on the board down here, and the actual breech is up a little bit higher. So they've run this almost like a window. It's kind of shaped like a C. So the sensor sits down here at the bottom of the window, but because it's a piece of either a piece of plexiglass or super clear plastic, it kind of works as a periscope, you know? So even though the eye is at the bottom, it can see up at the top up here because the light will transfer, almost like a fiber optic cable. So the eye actually doesn't sit up in the breech per se, it sits down below it, but can see into the breech because of this plastic transfer of the light going through there. So that's on both sides. I thought that was pretty neat. They can keep the eye out of the breech and have it down low, but still be able to see up inside there. It's pretty cool. All right, so let's, oh, and then also, there was one thing I wanted to tell you. That's where the tournament lock button is. It's right down in there. A little button you can push right down there. All right, enough of that. Let's look at some of the other stuff. If I can get this detent up out of the way. Okay. All right, so the battery is going to go up in the front right here, 9-volt battery. You're going to pull this tab out like that, and then you're going to squeeze the two Eclipse logos that are on the side, and that is going to release the battery compartment up and out. 9-volt battery drops right out of there. Now on the compartment, there is a diagram right here that shows you exactly how the battery needs to go in. So positive and negative sides, so you don't get that wrong. And the compartment can only go in one direction. So if you look at your compartment, it says that the positive is on this side. So let's make sure that our positive is on this side. Drop it in and push that down. Make sure you push it down to where you hear it click into place, and then you can close the tab down and it locks the battery in place as well. Talked about that. Let's do the grips on the back. So to pull our grips out, this tab on the back, we're going to pull it out. You can see that it's just kind of pulls it out right there. And then you can grab the edges here and here and spread them out and pull the back grip off. And once the back grip is off, then we can just pull the front one right off too. So it doesn't need any screws or anything like that. Just one quick release tab can pull the two sections apart. That's pretty sweet right there. Regular ASA integrated into the regulator here. This will come off. And unlike the integrated regulators in the grip on the CS1 and the CSR, where the spring tension causes this piece to pop up as you're undoing these screws, they have integrated the piston and spring into the housing of the regulator itself, so it's kind of self-contained now. So if I pull that off of there, this is where my piston and my spring and everything else is inside there. So the whole reg assembly is actually inside here. If you do remove the regulator, the two nuts that the screws go up through to lock it to the grip, they will fall out. So just be careful that you don't lose those, especially if you're doing it on a bench or something at the field, because these will fall out, and if you lose them, you can't attach the regulator back to the gun, or the ASA regulator combo. So with that out, we're going to go ahead and separate the upper frame from the body. One thing I want to show you is this assembly here. So this is our regulator assembly right there, and then this does split also in the middle. And there's our piston and our spring, and it all fits right down in there. It's a pretty clever little design here to have it all kind of encapsulated into one device or one area, so you're not having things fall apart. And self-contained makes it super easy. So let's take the frame apart. Now there are no wires to disconnect from the frame when you're separating it from the body, so you can just go ahead and do the screws, take them off, and then you can just pull this down apart. Now there's a little tab at the front right here that kind of, it's like a nose that locks in. So we just want to pull that out. You can see that's that tab at the front. So when we go to put it back together, we'll lock the nose in first and then just kind of rotate it up and close it like a sandwich. It makes it super simple. So there's our upper body basically. Really, really easy to deal with. No problems right there. I don't know if that whole thing slides out of there. I bet you could slide this whole inner assembly out. You'd probably take the eye covers off and slide it all out. Let's see if we can do that. I didn't do that earlier. Let's see if that comes apart like that. That'd be interesting to know. Bet you, I bet you, I bet you. There's probably a lock on here or something that I'm not seeing. That would be for another video, I guess. But that's okay. I would have to sit down and look at this a little closer before I wanted to force anything and pop it apart. But it looks like you could take this whole underneath assembly out and just slide it kind of right out of this body that's on top of here. And just not seeing where it's going to break down, but that's okay. We'll do that again in a different video. Or it's just so tight because it's new that I'm not pushing hard enough and getting it out of there. That could be the possibility as well. But I definitely don't want to force anything and break it, especially on a brand new gun sitting here. That would be just my luck, right? All right, so let's just leave that as it is. We'll come back to that another day. So solenoid sits right up in here, so you can see the solenoid. Using the same style solenoid as you saw in the G-Tech, just mounted in a different way, up against a different manifold. And then here is our board that runs right here. Here's our two eyes, and then our tournament lock right there, the connection between the solenoid and the board. So let's go ahead and disconnect that. And then the piece that holds the solenoid in are these two little brass things that you see here. They are directional, so you want to push them out from right to left, because they do have a little O-ring on them that kind of holds them in place. You don't want to run that O-ring through there. Just don't force it. If you try to push it and it doesn't come out, try the other side. All right, now once that is done, we can actually take the solenoid right off the top. And then we're going to push the transfer tube up and out. So our transfer tube sits in there like this. And then the regulator goes like that. So this sits like that inside there. So pretty cool little setup there. And that's it. Now we got our trigger here. Our trigger just sits up against the board. So if we were going to pull that out, we would knock the pin out, take the trigger out. Our on and off button is right there. This is a little light that kind of shows you what the gun is doing. Eyes on, eyes off, battery levels, things like that is done right there. The way this sets up, I don't see a spacing or a spot for any kind of OLED board. They might come out with something different down the line, but as it sits right now, I'm pretty sure that it's just going to run this with a light system on it, or an LED blinking at you. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I shot one. I've had a chance to look at it, and taking the Etha platform and building on it with the Gamma core, you can't go wrong with that. So I think it's a great pickup. I think people will have a ton of fun with it. It's going to be a great gun for a while. So let's go ahead and put it all back together. And then we'll put the barrel on and we'll assemble it completely. Forgot that part. mind is turning about that body getting it out of there. To go back to my bench and figure that out. All right, got our thing in the bottom right there. Let's go ahead and put those together. Make sure nose first, and just push it together. It goes together easier than like the CS1 CSR platform does. It's so simple to stick that whole thing together. No wires, no nothing. You have to make sure that the gasket that sits in between the solenoid manifold and the body, or the upper body, or the upper body, yes. Make sure that those line up and they're not crushed. It couldn't be easier. All right, eye covers. Like that. You take our grips, put them on there, make sure they fit into all the slots. Right there. Back grip. Snap that into place. Lock it down. Grips are back on. 4 in. Done. I mean, not many guns you can put together that fast. Woo. And there you have it. Check that out. The new Etha 2, really quite a piece right here. It's a great gun. It looks good. It's lightweight. It has the gamma core, which you can't go wrong with. It's Planet Eclipse. You know it's going to be sturdy and you know it's going to work. So I definitely recommend checking this gun out. If you're looking for something in the mid-range market, and you don't want to spend a ton of money on it, but you want something that will just charge, get one of these guns. Etha 2 from Planet Eclipse, available through the website. Order yours now through ansgear.com.